Hello everybody and welcome back to Simple Truths. I am your host, the Crazy Uncle. Today we're going to be talking about something that's a little off. Now a lot of people are not going to understand this yet until I fully explain it, but it's actually quite simple. Okay? It's all about perception. Alright? Now parents need to understand this one. This one is parental specific. Okay? Now it could go to aunts and uncles as well. But you need to understand something I like to call the 30-year gap. I'm sure there's some fancy term for it, which I don't give a fuck. But 30-year gap. Why do I say 30 years? Because there is about that much gap between when you are a certain age to when your kid's a certain age. Now, this 30 nowadays might actually be a little wide. Because in all honesty, with all the entertainers, like, what's her name, Bouncy and friggin' Lady Gagme, ugh, I can't believe people listen to that shit. All talking to girls as they should start friggin' sucking dick at 10 and opening their legs before they're 15, this number actually shrinks. And yeah, if that frickin' stung, by the way, what I just said, you might want to look into what your kids are listening to and watching. But I am the Crazy Uncle, and us crazy uncles, we tell it the way it is. Your 30-year gap is something that nowadays is very important. My generation in particular is having trouble understanding this because we've actually entered a different age. Around between 1997 and 2002, we entered the information age, which means that everything we knew growing up is completely different. Kids nowadays are growing up in a completely different set, just like those who grew up before World War II and the baby boomers, the greatest generation and the boomers. There was such a big difference there because they didn't understand the 30-year gap. And here's all you got to remember. Shit has changed. Things have changed a lot, actually. A whole lot. So you want to sit there, and I see this with my nieces and nephews, is my family, and I've seen other people's family, they want to raise their kids on the same standard they were raised on. And guess what? They were raised on a standard their parents raised them on. And by the way, I say 30 years just because, you know, you want to raise somebody at the age of 10, you were about 20 when they were born, you get the math. Regardless, boom, shit has changed. You start sitting there and say, oh, we're going to throw on the Muppet Show. Well, no kid nowadays is going to know what the fuck the Muppets are, unless the new shit comes out, which is god-awful. They haven't had anything good since Jim Henson died, and I was a kid when that happened. Now, if you understand this, if you understand the perception that things have changed, you can become a better parent. It's going to take some research on your end to actually be able to understand the 30-year gap and to adjust yourself for it. Now, certain things haven't changed. You still want to give your kids a sense of morality. You still want to give them at least a bit of a sense of modesty, although I think modesty for the most part is bullshit. Regardless, if you're not willing to put those little universals in that haven't changed, then this 30-year gap is the least of your worries. But just understand, shit has changed. A lot of things have changed. Did you grow up with a cell phone? No. And if you did, it was probably some flip phone that the best you had was hitting the button 4 times to get to a letter. Texting somebody, I'm on my way, took 5 minutes. You're better off just calling them. But then again, who calls anybody nowadays? And therein lies my point. The technology level has jumped to such a degree that this 30-year gap is making it impossible for you to relate from when they were kids to when we were kids. I will go into another 30-year gap in the next video. For right now, I am your Crazy Uncle. I'm out.